All right. Hello, everyone. So, what I want to do now is kind of walk you through a few more, um, probably more sophisticated, if you will, querying utilizing aggregates and make sure you understand how to apply them. I don't think it's going to be that difficult. Once again, I am providing you with this code, with this script, with all these examples in them. They'll be under this week's content. Go ahead and look for those and utilize these as you practice these with your assignments now and into the future. Okay, and so hopefully I gave you a nice set of examples that you can apply accordingly. But let's just take a few minutes and kind of walk through them. I just want to make sure you see some of these. So in this case, we're going to write an aggregate to show total number of transactions for all customers. In this case here, what we're going to do is join. So I'm using an explicit join. I'm going to say T sales and as TS, I'm going to join it to customers. All right. So I'm actually going to group it by my first name and my last name and my customer ID. I'm going to take that out. I think I actually did take that out of here before. And so for the most part, last name and first name. One thing here, I want to make sure that you see this here. This is kind of cool, what I'm doing here. I'm actually, in my select statement, taking two columns and I'm concatenating. I don't know if you guys know what that term means. If you're taking some programming, you should. The plus sign is how you concatenate in SQL. So I'm concatenating a comma space and I'm going to concatenate the last name, okay, or first name. So last name, comma space, first name, and it returns his name. This comes in really handy. Once again, I'm creating a brand new column in my results set, and this might come in handy for, again, if you apply it to programming or apply it to reporting or so on. So let's go ahead and look at this. So I'm joining these tables together. You can see how you do this. I'm grouping it. Let me get rid of that piece right there. There you go. I'm grouping it, and with that said, I'm going to go ahead and execute it. And it's invalid order clause because it's not contained in either the aggregates. Uh, and okay, that's cool. So I don't have it. I don't have customer ID in here. I'm gonna take that order clause off too. So I got a little error there. That's good. It's good that you see me with errors. That way you can see it. So basically, I have had that in there, yet it wasn't part of anything. And I go ahead and re-execute it. And as you can see, here's my answer. So look, number one, what this did. I have a name. Look how it concatenated this together. Kind of cool if you need to bring those together for any particular reason. And my total transactions all the way through. Now, in this case here, I got the actual names, not just the customer ID, so I needed to join those tables together. Make sense? All right. So you saw me with a little error there. That's good. That's good that you see errors. All right. In this case, we're going to write an aggregate. Same thing. I'm going to take this customer ID out of here. There we go. And this aggregate is going to show number of transactions, total amounts spent, and the average amount. So look at this. It's going to do all this for us. And we're going to do sum, we're going to count it, and we're going to average it. So I can do more than one aggregate within one select statement. All right. And we're going to do this. We're going to join customers and sales. This is for all customers. So let's go ahead and do this. And there you go. Pretty cool. So here's my names. There's my total sales, number of sales, and average. That's quite a bit of information, which makes this very powerful in regards to what that SQL actually did. What do you think? Take a look at that one and play around with that also. I do recommend you go get this code and you execute these one by one yourself. Again, this script has everything in it that you'll need to run this and test it. So I would walk through it and make sure you completely understand what these things are doing. All right. This is pretty much the same one. However, we decided to go ahead and show you how to do it with an implicit join. So just again, another example, same example. Instead of explicit, we do it implicit. So I wanted to give you one example of that. Everything still works fine there. Okay. Okay. This case, we're going to write. I should have fixed this up before I got into it, but that's all right. You can watch me work. In this case here, write an aggregate to show the minimum transaction amount for all customers. Once again, join these couple customers. We're going to bring back the minimum amount for that. So watch how this works. Here's the minimum for each customer based upon each sale. So this is the lowest that each customer actually, I guess it's the lowest sale for each customer in this case. All right. So nice examples. And the maximum, same type of thing here. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and execute this. Same thing, just the maximum side. All right. Again, trying to give you a nice set of little mistake there. Control R. Uh, nice set of examples. Okay. Here we're going to write an aggregate to show total sales per store. All right. So now we're going to take sales and stores and actually put them together. Store, store location, very similar. Okay. We just did the sum on this one. And so here's our store, our location, and the actual store amount. All right. Take a look at that one. All right, here's one with a halving clause in it. So now we're going to write an aggregate to show the number of transactions for all customers where the count is greater than 5. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use sales ID, and since I'm doing sales and customers, joining those together, and where the count is greater than 5. So it's only going to bring back those with transactions that are greater than 5. Okay, and once again, if I go ahead and take this out and rerun this, let's go ahead and do that for sake of example. You can see that if I didn't filter it, we had a few more entries here. But if I wanted to filter that based upon my boss telling me I only want the ones who had more transactions because I want to give those customers maybe a better discount or a thank you or whatever it is, you can write your query like this and then re-execute it. And you can see the ones with less than 5 go away in my result set. Okay, write an aggregate to show number of transactions, a total amount spent, and the average amount per transaction for all customers of a particular store. This is starting to get a little bit repetitive. And again, my goal here was to give you a couple of different examples as you kind of go through. So here you go in this case. Okay. This is for a particular store. And so once again, since it's for a particular store, you're going to use the where clause. That's a non-aggregate field, and you can use the where clause for that. All right, this one, we're going to write an aggregate to show the total number of transactions, money spent, and the average per customer. And this is where we basically have where sales are greater than 1. So our count is greater than 1. So here's a situation where we have a where clause and a count. So we're going to show all this information, okay, for a particular store where sales are greater than 1. So you at least have to have more than one sale. So in this case, I have everything in here. Select, from, where, group by, having, and order. So I have group by because I have store, last name, and first name. So all 3 of those must be in the group by clause. And I also have an order by. So we go ahead and execute that. This is what we come up with. All right. So for Macy's, this is everybody who has sales greater than 1. Quite a bit there. All right. And let's see. Finally, this is actually a good one here. I wanted to show this also. That when you do a sum, you can do some interesting things within the sum itself. There's a situation on your assignment, you might need to do something like this, just to let you know. And so, or if the situation comes up, I might have an amount, and in this case here, what I want to do is I want to write an aggregate to show the total net sales. And we'll pretend we have a 60% margin. So basically what we're saying is our net is 60% of the total sales. Does that make sense? So if our gross sales are the sum of all of this, our net sales, meaning this is what we make as a store, is 60% of this. I can literally sum up this value times 0.60. Isn't that pretty cool? All right. I can do a lot of things in here. If I want to add a couple things together, I can sum them up. So I can do more than just past data. I can take this, add it to something else, and then sum up those totals together. I can divide, I can multiply, I can do whatever it is you need to do based upon what is being asked of you. How do you know all these things? I don't know. I guess the answer is playing around, but I want to make you aware of it, that you can do a little bit more things in the sum, I guess, passing of data right here. What your data you pass to the sum function, then just pass the data. You can actually do some calculations within there also, and then it will sum all of that up. So if we go ahead and run this one, there you go. Okay, that's the net sales of the whole piece. Okay, so anyway, that is our videos on aggregate functions, quite a few of them, I know, and hopefully you get a pretty good idea of how these all work. I hope we gave you some great examples that you can now take and apply to your assignments and to your future assignments and to your future database queries, wherever that may lend you. With that, have fun playing around with these.